Hey, Catherine Wingy here with Austin Aqua Yoga. I want to show you a real quick demo of plank pose. Really a great posture to do in the water if you can't do it on land and maybe you have a sensitive wrist or shoulders that prevents you from doing it on land. This is one of the poses that combine to make the vinyasa, where we go from water dog to plank pose, elbow plank, and then move into cobra pose. So this is a nice posture to be familiar with if you want to go through that vinyasa. You're going to need to be in chest depth water. Recommend warming up your body before getting into this though, waking up the adductors, the inner thighs, the core, warm up the shoulders and wrists, and the ankles as well. So come on over to the wall. You're going to place your hands right in front of the shoulders on the wall. And just check, just standing here, do you notice, are your wrists above your shoulders or below your shoulders? And I recommend, if they're below your shoulders, cool, leave them on the edge of the pool. But if they're not, I recommend walking the hands down the pool wall so that the wrists are just a little bit below the shoulders. So I'm going to do that right here. And then I'm going to walk my feet back until my heels come off the floor. So now my body's on a diagonal line here, a little bit like a leaning mountain pose. Spread your fingers nice and wide, reaching the heels of your hands into the wall, right? And if maybe the water is kind of shallow, maybe you would have just the heels of your hands on the edge of the pool. So you check it out, but we want to have the wrists now, as you come into this diagonal line, the wrists directly in front of the shoulders, maybe a little bit lower if that's a better fit for your shoulders and wrists. So heels are off that floor. Heels are getting heavy though. The low belly is pulling in as you lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Straightening the elbows, pushing into the wall. So you want to flatten the shoulder blades onto the back here. It's almost like you're really hugging your armpits towards center line. Some of the things that are common as we're approaching this pose for the first time are maybe the pelvis swings forward, or maybe the pelvis is like up a little bit like that, or maybe you're up on your toes. The heels are heavy, they're not on the floor. Body on a diagonal line. And then while we're here, let's move into elbow plank. This would be the posture that would prepare us to come into cobra pose. For elbow plank, you would like your wrist just a little bit lower than the shoulders and bending the elbows straight down so that the forearms are parallel. So as I do this, I'm starting to come to the tips of my toes, which is going to help me when I flip to the tops of my feet to come into cobra pose. And then let's just straighten the elbows again, come back into plank pose. Let's do that a few more times. Tummy's in. Elbows bend straight down. You'll notice my legs, my thighs are very close together. And then straighten. Elbows bend. I'm hugging my armpits towards midline. Shoulders moving slightly away from the ears. Chest broad. So it's really good to warm up the shoulders and the chest before practicing this posture. One more time. Elbow plank. And plank pose. Good, and then just pause and plank. Yeah, and then step forward. That was our plank pose. Plank pose to elbow plank, so the forearms are parallel as we come into it. Thanks so much for checking out this demo of plank pose to elbow plank. If you want to learn more about Aqua Yoga, I have a beginner's video series. Links for all that below. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.